life for most people is not what they expected. And part of the problem is right there in the word expected. Your expectations is the very thing that's getting in the way of your happiness, of being centered and still and whole and quiet and satisfied with life. So just to have expectations of what life is, quote, supposed to look like is the very thing that's getting in the way of experiencing life as it is and resting and allowing all to just be as it is. And so I encourage people to really look at their expectations and whatever they might be, and not as a list, but to take one at a time and stop and drop into their being. Okay, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And then express the feelings that come up around that. And we get to see that expectations are really mostly coming from conditioning, coming from our past, coming from beliefs about what life should look like. It's a fantasy, it's not real. And to be able to touch into the feelings that come up around that as we explore the expectations is the key to, is really the key to those images, those illusions to dissolving. And what happens is once all the illusions are gone, once all the expectations dissolve, and I don't want to say all of them because I don't think that we actually ever get to dissolve all of our expectations, but once the majority of them are discovered, we can see that this is a pattern, or that this is something from my past, or this is something that was taught to me. Once we can get some of that clutter out of the way, people tend to start dropping into a more of a sense of happiness with the self. There's a resting, there's a peacefulness. There's not so much chatter and clutter within their being, and so there's a sense of resting. There's a peacefulness that gets experienced, and with that peacefulness, I mean, the word, even the word happiness can be misleading. It's more of a resting with life. It's more of a feeling of peace and gentleness with the way life expresses through this form here in this world. It is what it is, and there's really nothing that needs to be changed in the way life is expressing here in this form. So what's getting in the way of that peacefulness, that gentleness of life is really the thoughts that we have about the way that it should be, the way that it should be presenting itself.